called ourselves liberated. We fought for truth, justice, equality, and don't get me wrong, we did some good, but I had this blind hatred for anything Christian, anything that smelled like faith. I thought I was too smart to believe, too modern, too evolved. I made a brand out of it. Booked panels, podcasts, awards. I even got invited to the UN once, all because I stood for freedom from faith. But somewhere deep inside me, something started cracking. I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up at 3:13 a.m. every night, always 3:13. I'd feel cold, like something was watching me. Sometimes I'd hear whispers, like static, but forming words I couldn't understand. I thought I was just stressed. I told Sam about it. She told me to take time off, maybe get a new therapist. But therapy can't fix what's spiritual. I didn't know that then. One afternoon I was walking to my car after a shoot. Normal day. Sky was clear. No warning. I took one step off the curb and collapsed, just like that. No pain, no drama, just darkness. A void, like I had blinked and the world disappeared. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't alone in that darkness. I don't know how to explain what came next. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't some hallucination from stress or medication. I know what I saw. I know what I felt. The moment my heart stopped, I was no longer in my body. There was no light, no tunnel, just a darkness so heavy, it felt like it was alive. I couldn't see, but I could feel everything, every regret, every insult I ever made against people of faith. Every time I mocked someone just trying to believe in something greater. The darkness, it wasn't silent, it whispered. It whispered my name. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but the voice wasn't coming from around me. It was inside me, like something had cracked me open and was crawling through everything I'd tried to bury. My pride, my hate, my laughter, my lies. I wasn't scared. I was beyond scared. I was stripped, raw, like my soul was standing naked before something ancient and angry, something that remembered everything I had ever said. "You denied him," the voice said. I didn't ask who. I already knew. "You led others to deny him." I tried to speak, tried to explain myself, tried to say, I didn't know, but no words came. There was no breath, no air, just judgment, not the kind from people with Bibles and microphones. This was eternal judgment. And in that moment, for the first time in my life, I realized I might not be a good person. And then something shifted. A light broke through, small but fierce, like a flame in a cave. And I heard another voice, gentle, pure. It said only one thing: "You still have time." I don't know why, but I started to cry. I wasn't religious. I didn't even believe in an afterlife. But those words, "You still have time," felt like love. The next thing I remember, I gasped, my chest burned. Sirens in the distance, a man pressing down on my chest, yelling for me to breathe. I was back, but I didn't come back the same. When I woke up in the hospital, they told me I'd gone into sudden cardiac arrest. No drugs, no trauma, just my heart, stopping. For 2.5 minutes, I was medically dead. The doctor called it a miracle that I came back. I nodded and smiled like I was fine, but inside, I was unraveling. I couldn't stop thinking about the voice, about the darkness, about the words. "You still have time." I didn't tell the doctors. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't even tell Samantha. I just said I felt dizzy, maybe dehydrated. I lied like I always did, but this lie felt different, heavier. When I got home, I sat in silence for hours. No phone, no notifications, just silence. And in that silence, I heard it again. Not the voice this time, but a memory, a flash of a woman I once mocked online. She had posted a comment under my video: "I pray Jesus opens your eyes one day. He loves you more than you know." I replied with a laughing emoji and blocked her. But now, that sentence haunted me. I started scrolling back through my old videos, my posts, my comments, looking at myself through new eyes. How cruel I was, how arrogant, how empty. I wasn't leading people to truth, I was leading them to darkness, the same one I had tasted. I tried to distract myself, went to parties, opened Tinder, tried to laugh it all off. But nothing felt real anymore. Nothing filled me. I'd lie in bed at night and whisper to the ceiling, "Are you real? Was that you?" But I didn't even know who I was talking to. Then one night, around 3 a.m., I had this strange urge to walk. Just walk. I wandered for blocks in the cold until I saw a church, one of those old Catholic ones with the stone steps and statues. It wasn't open, but I stood there, staring at the crucifix above the door. I'd mocked that image 1,000 times, but now it stared back. And for the first time, I whispered, "I'm sorry." I don't know if anyone heard me, but I meant it. I kept going back to that church, not during services, not when people were there, just in the quiet. I'd sit on the steps at night, bundled in a hoodie, hoping no one recognized me. The activist, the influencer, the girl who called religion a joke. And now, here I was, searching for the very thing I spent years destroying. I didn't know how to pray. I'd never read the Bible. I didn't even know what Catholics believed, really. But something inside me felt pulled, like a thread was being gently tugged towards something ancient, something holy. One day, the doors were open. I walked in. The scent hit me first. Incense, old wood, candles. It felt like I had stepped into another world. The quiet was thick, sacred. I stood in the back, not sure what to do. There were maybe 3 people scattered across the pews, heads bowed. I didn't know how to kneel, so I just sat. I looked at the crucifix above the altar, and suddenly tears came. Not soft ones, violent ones. Years of pain, pride, anger, all pouring out of me like poison being drained. And then it happened. An old woman approached me, wrinkled hands, blue shawl, rosary wrapped around her fingers. She didn't say hello, didn't ask my name. She just looked at me, smiled, and said, "He heard you." That's it. 2 words. And then she walked away. I didn't move. I couldn't, because deep down, I knew exactly what she meant. That night, I went home and Googled how to pray the rosary. I watched videos, read blog posts. I even messaged someone anonymously on a Catholic forum. "Can someone like me come back?" The reply came an hour later. "You were never too far to begin with." That broke me. I deleted half my TikToks that night, unpublished my pinned anti-Christian video, lost to 30,000 followers in 1 hour. But for the first time, I felt clean. Not perfect, but finally clean. The hardest thing wasn't deleting my videos. It wasn't losing followers or facing internet backlash. No, the hardest thing was telling Samantha. She'd been my mentor, my protector, my closest friend for the past 4 years. We had built something together, a movement, a brand. She was the one who told me I was powerful, fearless. She was the one who reposted my most hateful videos and called me the voice of reason in a world of religion. So when I told her, it broke her. We were sitting at a vegan cafe we used to love. She was sipping oat milk chai. I was quiet for a long time, and then I just said it. "Sam, I think I believe in God now." She laughed, thought I was joking, but I didn't laugh back. I looked her in the eyes and told her everything. The cardiac arrest, the darkness, the voice, the old woman, the crucifix, the tears. Her face changed. "I don't like where this is going," she said. I told her I was thinking about going to RCIA classes to become Catholic. She looked like I'd stabbed her. She said I was betraying everything we stood for, that I was giving in to the same system that oppressed people like us. She said, "Do you know what they preach about people like us?" And I said something that shocked even me. I'd rather be hated by the world than separated from God again. She stood up, left, didn't say goodbye. That night, she unfollowed me, blocked me on every platform, posted a vague but pointed story about public figures selling out to cults. It hurt. God, it hurt. But I didn't regret it. I cried that night, yes, but not out of guilt, out of grief, because I realized that to follow Christ, I'd lose people I loved. I didn't even know yet what the church believed about people like me, about my identity, my past, but I knew this. I had seen darkness, and I had heard mercy, and nothing this world could offer would ever make me forget that. After losing Samantha, I almost backed out. I kept thinking, what if this is just a phase? What if I'm being emotional? What if I'm trading one kind of blindness for another? But the hunger inside me wouldn't go away. So I did it. I walked into a parish office and asked about RCIA. The woman behind the desk smiled like she had been waiting for me. She handed me a schedule, told me I was brave. I laughed, not because it was funny, because I had spent my entire life calling Christians brainwashed. And now I was becoming one. The classes were quiet, simple. We talked about sin, salvation, sacraments. It wasn't what I expected. No fire and brimstone, no judgment, just truth, slowly, painfully, beautifully told. But there were questions, ones I didn't know how to ask out loud. I was scared of the answers. What does the church think about people like me? Can I still be loved if I've lived this way? Can I be forgiven for mocking Christ? Can someone like me ever be holy? I didn't dare ask them at first. I just sat there, heart racing, every session, until one night, the priest teaching the class brought up the story of the prodigal son. He looked right at me, like he knew, and said, "You can't out-sin the mercy of God." I broke, again, right there in front of strangers, and after class, I stayed behind. I told him my story, not all of it, but enough. He didn't flinch. He didn't quote verses to shame me. He said, "The church isn't a museum for saints. It's a hospital for sinners." Then he said something that still shakes me. "You saw hell. That's why you're here." And in that moment, I realized I wasn't crazy. I wasn't lost. I was being called. The months leading up to Easter felt like both a war and a healing. Every step toward Christ brought peace to my soul, but stirred up chaos in my world. Old friends stopped replying. Activist groups I used to be part of made me their example of spiritual betrayal. Some strangers called me a fake. Others said I was brainwashed by the patriarchy. My DMs were flooded with hate. But inside me was a stillness I'd never known before. I was learning how to pray, not the performative kind, the real kind, where you just sit and talk to the one who knows you better than anyone. Sometimes I didn't even use words. I'd just cry or say, "Jesus, help me." And somehow that was enough. Then came Easter Vigil. My heart was pounding. I wore white. As I stood at the baptismal font, the priest looked into my eyes and said, "Do you reject Satan and all his empty promises?" And I said it with everything in me. I do. When the water hit my forehead, it wasn't just symbolic. I felt it. Like something truly died in me, and something else, something brighter, purer, eternal, was born. I walked away from that font, drenched, shaking, overwhelmed. People clapped. I heard voices, but all I could do was look at the crucifix and whisper, "Thank you for not giving up on me." Later that night, alone in my room, I opened my phone, not to post, but to pray. And as I stared at the screen, I realized I didn't care if I ever went viral again, because I had found the only thing worth being known by, not followers, not fame, but the Father. It's been over a year since I got baptized. I still get messages from people telling me I betrayed everything I once stood for, that I've sold out, that I'm a traitor to the LGBTQ plus community, and maybe, in their eyes, I am. But here's the truth they'll never understand. I didn't switch teams. I was rescued from death. I didn't convert out of guilt. I converted because I saw what waits on the other side when you live without God. I stood at the edge of something eternal, something terrifying, and I was given a second chance. Not because I earned it, not because I deserved it, but because Jesus, yes, Jesus loved me enough to pull me out. I'm not cured, I still wrestle, I still carry scars. Some questions don't have clean answers, but I finally found a church that told me I wasn't my identity. I wasn't my past. I wasn't my sin. I am a daughter, a child, a soul that was made for eternity. I don't post much anymore, not because I'm hiding, but because I'm healing. When I do speak, it's different now. It's softer, clearer. I talk about grace, about mercy, about the love I never believed in until I was swallowed by darkness and called by name into the light. Some people unfollowed, but new people came, the ones searching, the ones broken, the ones like me, and to them I say, you're not too far, you're not too dirty, you're not too late. If he could reach me, mocking, angry, arrogant me, then he can reach anyone. I don't need to go viral anymore. I just need to stay close to the one who saved me. And now, I finally know his name.